Imagine waking up with just a few dollars in your pocket, sleeping on a beanbag on the floor of a rented office, and showering at a public YMCA. Now, fast forward a few years to launching rockets into space, building the world's most valuable electric car company, and becoming one of the richest people on Earth. Sounds impossible, right? Yet that's exactly the story of Elon Musk. He didn't inherit a fortune. He didn't just get lucky, and he definitely didn't play it safe. His rise is a roller coaster of insane risks, brutal failures, and bold decisions that nearly destroyed him before they made him a billionaire. So how did he actually do it? How did a young guy obsessed with computers and space go from practically nothing to creating some of the most disruptive companies on the planet? Today, we're diving into the real story behind Elon Musk's wealth, and trust me, it's far more dramatic and inspiring than you think. Before we jump into the timeline of his companies, the money, and the major breakthroughs, we need to understand the man behind the empire. Elon Musk is not just the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. He's an architect of ideas that often seem too big, too risky, or just plain crazy to ever work. And yet, he keeps proving everyone wrong. Whether you admire him or criticize him, Musk is a figure you simply can't ignore. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how he made his money, from his early struggles and first business wins, to the moments he nearly lost everything, and the pivotal decisions that ultimately made him one of the most influential figures of our time. By the end of this video, you won't just understand what Elon Musk did to become rich. You'll understand how he thinks, how he takes risks, and how you might be able to apply some of those powerful lessons to your own path. So let's get started. It's almost unbelievable that the same person who once lived like that now builds reusable rockets, commands global attention with a single tweet, and leads companies that are reshaping entire industries, from transportation to space exploration. People often think wealth comes from luck, a rich family, or a perfect, foolproof plan. But Musk's journey proves that none of those are required. Instead, his rise is packed with failures, near bankruptcy moments, high-stakes decisions, and a level of determination that most people can only dream of having. But here's the real hook. Elon Musk didn't just get rich. He became one of the wealthiest people in the world by betting everything he had, repeatedly, on ideas that sounded absolutely insane. Ideas like building a private space company when even powerful governments struggled to do it. Or starting an electric car company at a time when the entire auto industry believed EVs were doomed. Yet he did it anyway. And the craziest part? He risked every single dollar he had multiple times and came dangerously close to losing it all. So how did he go from a broke immigrant to a billionaire entrepreneur who changed the world? That's exactly what you're about to learn. This isn't a fairy tale. It's a story of obsession, extreme risk-taking, and refusing to quit even when success seemed completely impossible. Before we break down the wealth story of Elon Musk, it's important to understand who he really is and why his rise is so unique. Unlike many billionaires, Musk didn't come from a world of privilege or a family with a business background. He wasn't handed a company, a network of powerful contacts, or a list of investors. He grew up in South Africa, thousands of miles from Silicon Valley, and from a young age, he developed a deep fascination with computers, technology, and space. By the age of 12, he had already built and sold his first piece of software, a simple video game. But even then, he had much bigger dreams, dreams that were far too big for the environment he was in. He knew that if he wanted to build world-changing companies, he needed to get to the United States, the place he believed offered the greatest opportunity for people who wanted to create something massive. His journey wasn't smooth. He moved to Canada at 17, worked a series of odd jobs to support himself, attended university, and eventually transferred to a school in the US, ultimately landing in Silicon Valley right before the tech boom really took off. What sets Musk apart is his mindset. He isn't primarily driven by money, but by impact. He doesn't choose the easy industries. He chooses the hardest ones. Instead of building a simple app or a software service, he dives headfirst into rockets, cars, and energy industries known for destroying companies and draining endless amounts of capital. Yet Musk didn't just enter these challenging fields. He eventually came to dominate them. In this video, we're going to break down how he made his fortune through 4 major phases. His early startups, his massive win with PayPal, his shocking decision to reinvest everything into Tesla and SpaceX, and finally the explosive growth that made him a global icon. More importantly, you're going to see how his unique way of thinking, his hunger for big world-changing ideas, his willingness to take extreme risks, and his absolute refusal to accept failure played a bigger role in his wealth than any single business deal. By the time we finish, you want to just know Elon Musk's story. You'll all understand the powerful principles behind his success. And trust me, these principles have the power to change the way you think about risk, opportunity, and what's possible. Let's get into the real journey. Elon Musk's road to wealth can be divided into distinct stages, each marked by major challenges and incredible breakthroughs. The first key stage began in the mid-1990s when he and his brother Kimball started a company called Zip2. It was essentially one of the earliest online business directories, like a digital version of the Yellow Pages with maps. This was long before Google Maps even existed. They had almost no money, so they lived in their tiny office, working non-stop. Elon would code all night and literally sleep on a beanbag under his desk. Their hard work paid off. Zip2 started to grow, attracting investors and landing partnerships with major newspapers like the New York Times. In 1999, the computer company Compaq acquired Zip2 for over $300 million. From that deal, Elon, at just 28 years old, made around $22 million. That was his first major financial win. For most people, that would be the end of the story. But for Musk, it was just the beginning. Next, he co-founded XCOM, an ambitious online banking platform that aimed to revolutionize the financial industry. It later merged with a competing startup to form what we now know as PayPal. The early days of PayPal were chaotic, with intense competition and internal conflicts. Even though Musk was eventually pushed out as CEO during a company shakeup, he remained the largest shareholder. This turned out to be a very smart move. When eBay bought PayPal in 2002 for $1.5 billion, Musk walked away with roughly $180 million after taxes. Now, with that kind of money, most people would retire, buy an island, and live a life of luxury. Musk did the exact opposite. He did something almost no financial advisor would ever recommend. He reinvested nearly all of it into 3 wildly risky ventures: SpaceX, his plan to make humanity a multiplanetary species; Tesla, his vision for an all-electric vehicle future; and SolarCity, a company focused on renewable energy. That single decision nearly destroyed him. For years, all 3 companies were bleeding money. Tesla was struggling to produce its first car, the Roadster, and was plagued with production problems. SpaceX had 3 consecutive rocket launch failures, each one ending in a fiery explosion. Musk was burning through cash faster than he could replace it. By 2008, he was on the verge of being completely broke. He famously described it as the worst year of my life. He had to borrow money from friends just to pay his living expenses. It looked like everything he had worked for was about to collapse. But then, in the final hour, everything changed. SpaceX's 4th launch was a success, which was just enough to secure a massive $1.6 billion contract from NASA. At the same time, Tesla secured a last-minute round of emergency funding, literally days before it would have gone bankrupt. Musk had saved all of his companies at the 11th hour. From that point on, the growth was explosive. Tesla went on to become a global leader in electric vehicles, completely disrupting the auto industry. SpaceX became the first private company to send rockets and astronauts into orbit, dramatically lowering the cost of space travel. And Musk's net worth surged. His wealth didn't come from a salary. It came from his ownership or equity in these companies. As the value of Tesla and SpaceX skyrocketed, so did the value of his shares. By 2020, Tesla's market value exploded, pushing Musk to the very top of the world's richest list. His story proves one critical lesson. True, generational wealth is rarely built through a paycheck. It's built through ownership. As we reach the end of this incredible journey, it becomes clear that Elon Musk's rise isn't just a story about business success. It's a story about thinking differently, acting with incredible boldness, and pushing through obstacles that would make most people give up. Musk didn't take the safe route. He didn't diversify his investments into stocks and real estate. Instead, he threw everything he had into a small handful of high-risk, high-impact ideas that he believed in with every fiber of his being. And even when things were falling apart, when his rockets were exploding, when Tesla was just days away from bankruptcy, he believed in the future. He was trying to build more than he feared the possibility of failure. The real message behind Musk's wealth is that extraordinary success requires extraordinary courage. Most people spend their lives avoiding risks. Musk runs directly toward them. Most people look for quick, easy profits. Musk focuses on long-term, world-changing impact. Most people give up when things go wrong. Musk doubles down, invests more, and works harder. You don't need to have billions of dollars to apply these principles in your own life. You can start by thinking a little bigger, committing more fully to your goals, and refusing to stop when the path inevitably gets difficult. Whether you love him or you dislike him, you cannot deny that Elon Musk changed industries that many experts believed were impossible to change. He proved that sometimes the craziest ideas are the ones that actually change the world. And that is how he became one of the richest and most influential people on the planet. Not by luck, not by inheritance, but by a relentless, unshakable vision and an unimaginable tolerance for risk. If you enjoyed this breakdown of how Elon Musk built his fortune, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which entrepreneur you want us to cover next. Thanks so much for watching.